They call him a visionary, a genius, the real-life Tony Stark. But behind the billion-dollar companies and the Mars-bound rockets lies a story not of overnight success, but of spectacular failures, crushing debt, and the relentless, almost obsessive refusal to accept that something is impossible. This is the story of Elon Musk and the architecture of the impossible. His story begins with a deep, consuming curiosity. A quiet boy from South Africa who found refuge in books and computers. He coded his first video game at 12, but the confines of home were too small for his ambitions. After arriving in Canada and then the US for college, he co-founded Zip2 with his brother Kimball. It was hard, grinding work. He famously lived in their rented office, showering at the YMCA. He sold Zip2, making millions, but for Elon, this was just the beginning. The goal wasn't wealth, but a canvas to paint his grand visions on. He next co-founded XCOM, an online financial services company. Here, the struggle wasn't external, but internal. The ambition was massive, but the execution was a battlefield. A clash of egos and visions led to intense conflict. The company eventually merged with its rival, Confinity, to become PayPal. Elon was a central figure, pushing boundaries, but the internal strife was a powerful, if painful, teacher. The success that followed, with eBay acquiring PayPal for $1.5 billion, was a huge victory, but one born from a fire that nearly consumed the company. After PayPal, everyone expected him to retire to a private island. Instead, he took his entire fortune and bet it on the most implausible idea yet. He was going to revolutionize space travel. He founded SpaceX with one core mission: to make life multiplanetary. But the world laughed. The aerospace giants were deeply entrenched, and the science of putting things in orbit was incredibly complex and impossibly expensive. The struggle here was sheer disbelief. No one thought a private entity, especially one led by an internet entrepreneur, could build rockets. The world watched, skeptical, as a visionary began to build an impossible machine. The early days were a sequence of spectacular failures. 3 times they tried to launch their Falcon 1 rocket. 3 times it ended in a fiery explosion over the Pacific. Musk had invested virtually all his money. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy. This was his lowest point. He was hours away from losing everything. The public ridicule was relentless, but it was in this moment of absolute despair that he made a decision that would define him. Instead of folding, he took a final, desperate gamble. This was it, the 4th launch. A failure would be the end. The finality of this moment brought a strange, almost serene clarity. The rocket soared. It didn't explode. It delivered its payload. A private company had put a satellite into orbit. The world of space exploration had just irrevocably changed. A billion-dollar contract with NASA followed, and the future of SpaceX was secure. This wasn't just a technological achievement. It was a testament to a human spirit that refused to be broken. While SpaceX was perfecting rockets, Musk was planning his most ambitious infrastructure project yet, Starlink. The goal? To blanket the Earth in high-speed, low-latency internet, but the hurdles were astronomical. Critics called it orbital debris waiting to happen. Astronomers feared it would ruin the night sky. Financially, it was a black hole. Low Earth orbit constellations had bankrupted every company that tried before. In the early days, they were losing money on every dish sold, bleeding cash to build the massive constellation. But then came the 2020s. From the war in Ukraine to the devastating floods of 2025, Starlink became the world's lifeline. By 2026, with over 10 million subscribers and the massive Starship rocket preparing to launch version 3 satellites, the gamble paid off. It wasn't just a service, it was the backbone of a new global economy. In 2022, Musk made his most controversial move, the $44 billion acquisition of Twitter. The world watched in shock as he walked in with a sink, signaling a total gutting of the company. The struggle was immediate and public. Advertisers left in droves, citing concerns over content moderation. The company was saddled with billions in debt. Critics predicted a death spiral, Musk's response was characteristically radical. He killed the brand entirely, transforming it into X. He envisioned it not as a social network, but as a global marketplace for ideas, payments, and AI modeled after the everything apps of the East. The path was treacherous, marked by lawsuits and technical glitches. But Musk remained focused on a single goal: preserving a digital town square while building the ultimate financial tool. By 2026, X had survived the fire, integrating with his AI venture, XAI, to create a vertically integrated empire of data and intelligence. Amidst the rockets and the social media wars, Tesla remained the heart of his mission. The struggle of production hell, sleeping on the factory floor to save the Model 3 had passed, replaced by global dominance. By 2026, the electric revolution he sparked was no longer a debate. It was the standard. Elon Musk's story isn't about a man who has it all. It's about a man who risks it all, repeatedly. From the brink of bankruptcy in 2008 to the rebranding of a global icon in 2023, the pattern is the same: identify a limit and break it. He is a man building the future in real time, messy, controversial, and relentless. He doesn't just see the impossible, he sees the architecture required to build it. And as we look toward the 2030s, the question isn't whether he can reach Mars, but what else he'll transform on the way there. For more stories of relentless innovation, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share.